Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another edition of Arm Warriors. We got a few different interesting things to cover today. Number one is Ryan Bowen, as it's a bit of old news now. I was a few days late on this video just because of work commitments, but we do know by now that Ryan Bowen versus Matawaringi Heta Morris is cancelled because of New Zealand's crazy restrictions. Let me say, this time is revealing the real heart and ideology of who's in government. You know, sometimes it's good. We need these people to be revealed for what they really believe. There's been suggestions maybe they should have jumped on boats. I think it would have been pretty cool to imagine a kind of secret arm wrestling rendezvous off the coast of Oz, you know, shades and dark suits, but that's not going to happen. Now, Ryan did then say he would pay expenses for an elite pro to come, either to come to Australia, that he'd pay his expenses. But now the option, it seems, also was Ryan to travel himself, and he said there is a mystery puller that he is going to take on. He said, I want an elite arm wrestler. He said they are from Eastern Europe. He said they're multiple times world champion. He also said they're within a few kilos of his weight. So this has made us all guessing. Who could this be? He also said it's someone that the arm wrestling world would see as significant. So I think that this narrows it down. Obviously, there's many pullers in Eastern Europe, many top quality guys. But if you're talking close to Ryan's weight, if you're talking a multiple world champion, if you're talking about someone that, you know, the art would be significant for us to see, then that narrows it down. Well, number one, let's do elimination. It can't be Levan because he's nowhere near Ryan's weight. I thought, you know, maybe Dennis is coming out of retirement. I mean, that would be very significant, but again, he's much heavier than Ryan, and unfortunately, I think that Denis Aplenkov's arm wrestling days are done. You know, Ryan has bulked up to over 223 pounds, as he put on his Twitter recently, since his 200 pounds WAL listing days. So for me, I think there's only a few people, names that were floated around was Krasimir Kostadinov, Rustam Babayev and Zoloev. Krasi is at 210 pounds according to the unified rating of professional arm wrestlers. He is a multiple world champion. He's arm wrestling WAL. It would definitely be something interesting to see. So I think strong contender. There's Rustam Babayev. He's won the most WAF and European titles in history, but he's only 195 pounds, which the smaller version of Blue, that was a few pounds away. But this heavier monster that's being built, call him what you want. You know, that's not close anymore. That's more than just a couple of pounds. Some have said Zoloev, and though he did beat Toddzilla, perhaps with a little bit of a false start here and there, his weight is still far below Ryan Bowen. So my bet is he is going to pull Krasimir Kostadinov. How is that going to go? Well, the side pressure king is rising. But Krasi is a multiple world champion. This guy is no joke. He has lost in the WAL. All I'll say, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people will think. I don't think Krasimir is going to go through Ryan. I think I'm not going to call this one. I'm actually not going to call it. Well, okay, if I call it, I'll say that Krasimir Kostadinov will win, but it's not going to be close. And Ryan could take some rounds. And you know what? Let me open it up and say he could even pull a shock on this one. But I think that's a smaller percentage. Okay, the next big thing, which is really the marquee in the arm wrestling world, is Devon Larratt versus Levan Saginashvili. Devon gave an update recently that he'd spoken to Levan privately, and both want the match, which is great news, because if they don't want it, then it's not going to happen. Doesn't matter about the promotions. I must say, for Denis's case as being one of the greatest of all time, you know, Devon is 7 years older than Denis Aplenkov, and he now appears to have hit a second prime, which is almost unheard of. I mean, you could say that John Brzezinski believes he was strongest in the 80s, but then, you know, even in the 2010s, he was peeling Dennis open like a can. Although, to be honest, personally, I think Dennis was a bit overrated at that time. I think Dennis resorted to the King's move and a bone lock. I don't think until he got to the point of facing Devon on the left arm and had been on a strong professional protocol that he really got to a almost unbeatable level. But you know, here's Devon. He wants to face the new Hulk. This is in the same vein as John Brzezinski, you know. We get the more flash in the pan arm wrestlers, mostly from Eastern Europe, which is no offense, you know, they're amazing. We love the Vovodas, we love the Denis Aplenkos. Now they do appear to have taken copious amounts of PEDs versus the more enduring North American legends like John Brzezinski, Richard Lupkes, and now Devon Larratt, who, you know, obviously at least some of them are taking something themselves. And I'm not taken away from how amazing Alexei Vovoda was. In his time, he was a simple beast and a phenomenon that flattened John Brzezinski. But steroids or no steroids, there's something to be said for longevity. It's more than just drugs, people. It's a mindset, it's a discipline, it's an attitude, and it's a love and commitment to the sport, not going off and doing other things. It's what makes Roger Federer so great. Federer is so great because of his longevity, his commitment to tennis, his artistry, his mastery. We have never seen such beautiful tennis apart from the racket of Roger Federer. So the latest is, you know, Devon said they're trying to fit their calendars, this promotion. So things are looking good for the biggest match ever. Now, I did personally ask Devon, and he said it's okay to share this. What is the actual likelihood? He told me it's 50%, which, well, that's yes or no. That means he doesn't know. He doesn't. They want to do it, but it's still very much up in the air. Still very much 50-50. Either way, yes or no. For me, for Devon to do this and to take Levan's hand and to beat him would cement his status as the GOAT. Multiple world champion on both arms, but to come back and beat Levan after the health setbacks, losing a good year of competition with all that's been going on in the world, you know, to me that puts Devon Larratt as number one. I will defer a bit to Blue and say, hey, best of all time. But to me, now John Brzezinski, longevity, domination, unquestionable. John has only been a real champion on the right arm though, and the sport has evolved over the last couple of decades. Eastern Europe involvement. The left arm is not just a sideshow anymore. Now, it would have been great if we could have had John in his prime more recently, so we could have trained his left arm and seen that, but we just don't have that to go on. So if we're talking about both arms, we're talking about who was the best at their best. To me, that's no limits. From the north of the border, Devon Larratt. He said if he can't have Levan, he'll be looking at another opponent soon. But again, Devon, personally to me, said it's 50% right now. Okay, lastly, video came in yesterday. Larry Will's fantastic video came out. Larry's there in New York. He is going to be going back to Dubai a little bit sooner than anticipated. But while he's there, he hooked up with Empire Arms New York Arm Wrestling Club. And I was so excited to see the title. We got to see Larry against Mike Ayello. Now, I love when guys just meet up and pull. We don't always need to wait till the WAL, PL, whatever, they sort a match. Just pull, man. You know, it's practice. We understand. We're not going to look, oh, he won, they won, whatever. We just want to see men pull. And Mike Ayello was someone I think Larry would have been had a much better match with than Schoolboy. I think if Larry, with the preparation intensity, would have had a much better match. We'll talk about how he did with Mike in practice, but I think, Larry needs to aim for someone like Mike Ayello, and for now just leave Schoolboy alone. Now, Mike is not a world level elite, He's definitely up there in North America. He's very consistent. He is a very strong puller. And Larry is clearly seeking to be an inside puller, which Mike also is. Mike is known for his strong hook, and if he comes out of the hook into a press. But I knew Mike was going to beat him in the hook, because that's what Mike does. He hooks guys. He pulls them in, he gets them tight with his huge muscles, his lats, keeps them tight, turns them in, pronates them in, supinates them in, and keeps them there. But the interesting part was when Mike tried to go for the top roll instead, he couldn't get through Larry's hand at all. Larry's fingers, Larry's wrist flat, his cupping, it didn't move. So Mike then span it back into the hook and won. But that's great news. You know, Larry's gaining great wrist control, flexion, cupping. He's got that. Now, what he needs to work on is what the most arm wrestling specific strength to me is pronation. Until he gets strong in pronating, in the turn, and in supinating as well, just in the rotation of the wrist, whether that's a pronation like a top roll or a supination into a hook, or in a hook and then just pronating through to pull someone down. He needs to get strong there. You cannot truly access the rest of his amazing musculature until he gets his turning, his supinating, his pronating, especially down and strong. But once he does, mark my words, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. You know, he said he wants to be number one in North America. I like that. I like how Ryan is. I like how Larry is. Have goals. People that mock that, you know what? That's up to you. But if you never set those heights, you'll never reach them. If you don't set a big goal, you will not reach that big goal, guaranteed. If you reach for the moon, at least you can come down with a handful of stars. Interesting part is Marcio Barbosa turned up. This is a true elite level world puller. He has beaten, maybe in slightly contentious terms, but young John Brzenk, many others. And this is what I love about the sport. There is such a huge gap between the regional, then national, and world level elites. In comes Marcio. He's holding every single guy comfortably. I know he's got his back pressure on, but there's no real strain evident. Mike, Stone, I think the name was Rick Stone there, Larry, no problem. The thing that's crazy is we know that Devon dominates Marcio. This just shows you the top guys, the Devons, the Brzenks, the Levans, these guys are absolute phenomenons. And it's amazing that human beings, enhanced or not enhanced, it always takes discipline, can get to that level. I love excellence, so I love to see Marcio there, complete Don, just holding people, man. I mean, that's the dream. I mean, I can hold my kids. My wife's pretty strong though, she's African. But you know, great to see. Fantastic video. Thank you for all that you're doing for the sport, Larry. And that's it for today. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. Thank you to my subscribers. You know, even prominent people, Uncle John, Chant Shaw, and I'll let you know, Mr. Devon Larratt has also subscribed. The video about John and Chant, that is shooting up. It went from a couple hundred to over 2,000 views in a week. So please check out my other videos as well. I'm always going to have a picture on there or something that's going to make you laugh, hopefully, with my Photoshop skills. But check back, video at least every once a week. There's going to be some shorts as well. Thank you. Keep up the support and stay strong.